season, each region sends forth their champion to lay claim on the Summoner's Rift. They battle for the crown and the throne. Victory is written in blood, never stone. Heavy is the head that wears the crown, rising to the throne, never looking down. But all his conquests forge a foe. Sworn to vengeance forevermore. The dragon strikes fear with scale alone. None can control its fire or flight. Its greatest enemy may be its own might. Yet a mighty heart can beat the odds, fighting with courage to upset the gods. She stalks hidden within the eastern wind, tracking the fear of her enemies. When your guard has fallen, your gasping defense will be your last. A warrior of many origins, often beaten, yet never defeated. With each loss he evolves. Is he finally poised for victory? A wild pack once ruled the wood. But were divided by a thirst for fresh prey.
Veteran players have gone elsewhere, leaving their legacy.
The spirit of the pack remains, and the hunt goes on. Who will rise above and prove their worth? Who will establish their dominance from ruled to ruler? Who will own the rift?
Trying to hang firm. Denmark already back up. They turn their attention to Sven. Perks going way too low. Oh, Perks! He's going to grab another kill. That's the last Nexus turret. That's going to be it. We have a new king in Europe after all. 2015, they proved they were LCS material. 2016, they're top of the charts.
Representing Europe, G2 Esports.
He's still gonna attack.
He's trying to reset.
He's going in for the reset. That's it. The ace for CLG. The clean it from Stixxay. And CLG proves you can change the players, but the faith remains. And they're gonna walk to their second consecutive North American LCS championship.
North America's champion, Counter Logic Gaming.
fırsatı, Trick'in karşısına çıkma fırsatı için.
Geliyor. Süpürmesi geliyor.
Mata'nın karşısına çıkmak için.
Geliyorlar.
Geliyorlar.
Finale gidiyoruz işte. Hadi bakalım. Hadi bakalım.
From Turkey, IWCI winner, Supermassive. Representing the LMS region, Flash Wolves.
이즈리어가 가져온다 프리딩 가져온다 동초 대박 이게 한타 대승을 이끌었습니다. 입놀이 나왔습니다. 한타 입놀이 나왔습니다. 남은 시간 약 30초. 노이체스 5회 우승. 와 진짜 다만 번째 우승이 늘었네. 아 이렇게서 안돼 되는 것 제제
LCK finalist, SK Telecom T1. LPL champion, our home team, Royal Never Give Up. Welcome to the 2016 Mid-Season Invitational.
For the 2016 Mid-Season Invitational. Now you just gotta look at the champions of 6 regions from around the world that have converged on the Oriental Sports Center to make their mark on the international stage as they fight for regional pride. As you can see moments ago, fans out on the concourse ready to move in and cheer on their favorite teams. Of course, the hometown crowd going to be cheering for Royal Never Give Up of China. But ladies and gentlemen, we got plenty of games coming your way. Hello, I'm James Dash Patterson here to cover all of the action over the next 2 weeks from behind the analyst desk.
I mean, SK Telecom T1, this is the team in League of Legends. They've got 2 world champions. They've got 3 straight LCK champions titles. It's basically a dynasty at this point. They also have the most famous and most feared player in League of Legends of all time. Faker.
Do you know what they don't have?
Yeah, I know how you'd be fooled there, Martin, but it's actually Faker.
Do you know what they don't have? They don't have an MSI trophy just yet because EDG took it off him in 5 games last year.
And EU.
And from the LPL, you have Royal Never Give Up, the home crowd team right now.
You sound so excited.
I am excited. 2 world champions, 3 players that kind of came from lesser known Chinese teams, but are absolutely massive. You got Mata making the shot calls here. This team, to me, if you look at the Koreans, you're like, they're a good team. People are going to look not at the Chinese players, though. These players know how to play League of Legends.
It is. Going to be facing the LPL in the first round here. And Counter Logic Gaming, they're actually coming from North America. North America is the region that has the most percentage of their games played as lane swaps. And CLG, right along with that trend, very high up there as far as the lane swap games played. They usually earn themselves an advantage out of the swap and through mid-game objective trading. And a lot of that is, of course, due to Zix, the coach, who's been carried over.
For MSI either, if you are G2, from what we hear, basically. It is obviously a challenger team, came into the LCS, picked up 2 Koreans, an Emperor and Trick, and they're both, especially Trick, honestly. Trick was the MVP in Europe. Emperor has done his job, but he's been the weak link many would consider, at least from this team. But every time we question G2, this is a team we're also very excited about because LMS has been getting better and better as a region. And this Flash Wolves team, it looks almost the same as the team we saw last year at Worlds. Only difference is Stake is out. He's now the coach for the team. And then MMMD is the new top laner who plays a bit like Stake, but we feel is slightly better. At least the core is still there.
Change based on which region has the highest share of players sporting their MSI icons. The icon for your region is available right now for 1 IP in client, so log on and show your support. As of now, Europe is leading the pack with Korea and Turkey hot on their heels.
Because it was banned against CLG in the finals of North America, but Soraka received some, in my opinion, substantial nerfs in the patch that we are playing on right now, yet they still are able to draw a ban away on that champion.
So very impressive. Fearing the CLG Soraka, maybe the play style. Another ban will be the Kindred. We've touched on some of the champions. Kindred's still one of those top tier junglers removed off the list. We know Smithy has a number of options to fall back to, most notably the Elise, but another support ban.
Already we have some crazy things happening. It's heavy targeting on the bottom lane of Wushin Mata, which tells me that CLG are probably still going for Caitlyn and potentially Bard and a lane bully, lane dominant duo lane, because this means Azir or Maokai is absolutely available for first pick if they want it, which is actually insane to me. I thought that North America was going to continue to ban those champions, but they have not.
All right, so already pulling some surprises. Another support ban. Bard taken off the table. So Caitlyn Bard not available for CLG. How do they bounce back?
Yeah, it's going to be hard to see because there are incredibly targeted bans for both of these teams. Whether or not the targets are hitting their mark, I do have to question. The Twitch was only played in 1 game in the LPL finals for them, and that was in response to the Twitch that was played against them in Game 3 of the series. And then also the fact that they have banned Ryze. It was also something that I thought Huhi was going to pick very early in drafts. So we talked about expectations, Quick Shot. This is already changing some of them.
Completely rewriting the rulebook. Maokai still up and available, as is Siva. Let's find out what is going to be prioritized here for China, for the LPL, and for Royal Never Give Up. They got 30 seconds before first pick. What is most likely here? Jungle Pool hasn't really been hit, with Kindred the only target banned.
Right, so there were Graves with very slight nerfs on this patch, Nidalee with very slight nerfs, and Kindred was obviously the only ban. So I feel like you could, in a perfect world, trade the Nidalee for a Graves, but Xmithy had not played much Graves throughout the regular season, and wow, Darshan did play 1 Maokai in the playoffs in a defeat to Team Liquid, but they're going for it because they do not want to let Looper get Maokai.
We need to find out if NA are maybe buying into a play style that the LPL squad and RNG may have more experience if they're looking for those mid-game team fights, if they're looking to go toe-to-toe with China's best. How do you think that's going to play out?
There's a lot of different ways it can play out because it really depends on how the LPL draft favors towards the expectations of CLG, because if they're picking something that is meant to shut down 1-3-1 and CLG picks an overwhelming teamfight composition, yeah, CLG would be able to have an edge. But here, with Alistair and Azir locked down, it's looking like they're getting exactly what they want. Mata, Alistair, MLXG's Nidalee is absolutely insane and crushed during the regular season, and everything they have so far is actually perfect for them.
The Alistair God from China, Mata, shows that his maybe aggressive, sometimes over-aggressive playstyle is a little more forgivable when he's playing the cow, and very comfortable picks here for RNG. A little bit of time to respond for CLG. You know, they've locked in that tank front line. How do they round it out? What is next for this team to look at?
Ooh, well, you're wondering at this point with the Maokai already locked in, they're going to hope to counterpick the mid lane for Huhi. They don't necessarily have to wait for that right now and might actually look to... Yeah, they're going to wait for the counterpick. It looks like they will be going with the Graves jungle and a Caitlyn AD carry. So these are, once again, things that are kind of common in the Caitlyn for CLG, but also uncommon in the Graves for Xmithy. Only one Graves game throughout the regular season, and I watched it, I cast that game. It wasn't very pretty.
And to be fair, the Brahm's not one of Afremu's most played champions either, 2-3 times throughout the course of the split. Not something that CLG have fallen back to, but this whole pick and ban is not something we were expecting, not something we were anticipating in the first game of MSI.
Well, we're not anticipating it because we expected CLG to stop RNG from getting exactly what they wanted, but they didn't. So right now, we're looking like a very comfortable Chinese squad for RNG right here. Their last two picks will just have to be AD carry and top laner. The one thing that I do have to say is that at least if we're defining what S tiers are for each role, CLG did get the S tier top laner, and oh my god! That's Aurelion Sol.
Game 1 of mid-season invitational, and Aurelion Sol has arrived.
CLG's Coach 6, I was talking to him before the tournament, and this is fair play right now. I was like, what do you think about Aurelion Sol? He's like, I don't know, we tried it, we're probably not gonna play it. He lied! They're playing it first game. They kept their cards tight to the chest.
Right, what does this mean for the team composition here for CLG, knowing the possibilities that who he's gonna have to work with, and Aurelion Sol?
So one of the things about Aurelion Sol is his roaming is actually spectacular, which fits perfectly into Huhi, but the thing with that is he needs to be able to get a lead on Azir in order to roam. If you get an early Rod of Ages and Rylai's Scepter on Aurelion Sol, you can absolutely take over the game because you can roam so quickly with him, and it actually is just a massive team fight, team composition after the early roaming happens. With Maokai, Aurelion Sol, and the double marksman with the tank support, it looks like they're going to be looking to go toe-to-toe with RNG in team fights and surprise them with a new mid lane pick.
Toe-to-toe in team fights, but they've got the advantage in terms of that limited experience against Aurelion Sol. This is the first tournament that he is going to be available for here.
Wow. The turns in that game were unreal. Back and forth and back and forth and back again.
Jet, that says it all, doesn't it?
Power of the home crowd support after they're able to win this game. So close. Stixxay, a few great fights, a few terrible moves. You look at the side of RNG, a lot of lost team fights, which is not what you expected from them. We talked about expectations early. Mata showed up with some massive initiations. Xiaohu at the very end with some huge team fights. And Whoosh, who wasn't even starting their semifinal matchup with Name late in the season, came up huge in multiple fights towards the end of the game.
Exceptionally well played in that final fight, but Counter Logic Gaming, those missteps, those mistakes cost them multiple times in the game, just being too far forward, just being able to be punished. And I think you have to give credit to, CLG, first of all, for playing the game the way they did, but you cannot forgive those mistakes on this stage.
Yeah, I mean, I actually feel like this is one of those games with the number of mistakes that happened inside of it. doesn't feel great to win, but feels awful to lose.
Yeah.
Because you had so many opportunities to win the game, and you're really going to be kicking yourself. The thing that's very important for CLG as they move towards their second game of today, as well as the other 9 games they have in this group stage, is realize that this wasn't their only chance. They had many opportunities to win, and they can't tilt. They have to keep with the plan. But this one hurts because they gave away their pocket pick, and RNG are the ones who got the win.
Yelled it loud and clear how they intend to play that Aurelion Sol Maokai combination, and that's something that everybody is going to take heed of. We've heard that Faker's been playing it. You yourself quoted Faker was going to play it.
Hui!
He got beaten to it.
Actually going to do it. He had no chance, really. It wasn't fair. It wasn't a fair fight. Oh boy.
That sets us up very well, because those preconceptions we talked about in the pregame, Jack, about the lane swap advantages CLG could garner didn't really show true. RNG somewhat went toe-for-toe. They only fell a marginal bit behind, and then they were able to dig deep and punish the mistakes, so RNG could win in a long game, something they're very, very used to doing.
I know, and I think the familiarity with the style is really what was super key at the end there for RNG, because we knew we were going to see these giant late-game team fights. And while CLG did have some clean initiations, they also had some very poor initiations, and as soon as they had those mistakes, RNG would punish hard. And that final team fight 43 minutes in just cleanly wiped them, because Darshan went in way too early, and his health was evaporated before anyone else could actually do damage for CLG.
I did not think he was going to get hit that hard. I mean, that tank with Thornmail, Frozen Heart, Sunfire, Spirit Visage, he got dropped chunks 75% in a ridiculous amount of time.
Exactly. You had a
win at MSI 2016.
And such a close game, but some confident high fives after that one. Flash Wolves should be proud that they were able to come back from such a deficit in this game. At the start of it, it was looking like G2 was going to hum on all cylinders. The break they took, the pressure, they just didn't care. They just kept going for plays, but they tried to make too many plays. And at the end of it, Flash Wolves were ready for it, and they take the win.
Exceptionally well played by Flash Wolves, not to crack under the pressure, not to falter and make more mistakes, but you have to criticize G2. Stylistically, they went back to an earlier version of themselves. It was raw, it was unrefined, uncontrolled at many times. And it was that over-eagerness that costed them. It allowed Flash Wolves to punish. It allowed Casa to look for a Baron steal that maybe shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, Flash Wolves was the patient ones, aside from the time where they decided to force Baron and had it stolen from them. But we're just going to gloss right over that one and talk about how Maple and Karsa lived up to the hype early on against Perks and Trick. Trick also lived up to the hype. He had a tremendous early game, but could not bring it home. A couple missed ultimates on Kindred towards the end of the game. Very tricky for him. No QSS, no McHale's anywhere, and Boots of Swiftness. So if he was ever stunned by a Braum or an Echo, he would have no way of saving himself. So he had to be very itchy with his trigger finger on his ultimate, and it stopped him from being able to get good ones out. But huge credit to Maple and Karsa specifically, as well as the rest of Flash Wolves, for staying cool, using their experience, and starting 1-0.
Yeah, very, very good performance, and still more games for both of these teams to play. We're going to see... Holy... kill for Whoosh, and CLG are punished. A very good stun for Counter Logic Gaming. A double kill for Stixay. He manages to 90 caliber net, finds the triple, looking for the quadra. Show who's running for his life.
So there.
Nelly, no flash. My ulti's here. Ulti's here.
Too far from me.
My ulti's here. Poppy. I'm looking. My ulti's left. Lucian. Let's get there. Come in.
It's so much damage. The hammer sends him for his life, and the kill secured. Stixay's running. Royal never give up. They haven't give up. They've got themselves a double. That's a triple kill for Whoosh. Counter Logic Gaming. They thought they had position.
Pull together and take the game.
And Royal never gave up, striking first in Shanghai at the MSI.